I would like to talk about the joy of acting. In this video, I will discuss how important I think the joy of acting is and what it means to me, and discuss 3 powerful ways that you can call upon it as a way to go deeper and further into your work as an actor. So what does the joy of acting really mean? In the actor's journey, there are many possible circumstances that don't support joy. What I would like to focus on in this video is how the joy of acting can drastically improve your relationship to the craft itself, especially if you're a dramatic actor. So first, I'd like to talk about where the joy for creativity comes from. And I've mentioned this in previous videos. Creativity is something that goes all the way back to when we're little kids. The joy of creativity also goes back to when we were little kids, 3 years old, 5 years old, whatever age you can possibly remember in your lifetime. And if you can go back to what age do you remember even just playing pretend or doing anything creative? What were you doing? What were you feeling when you were doing it? The joy of just innocently pretending and being in your imagination for the enjoyment of being alive. When we think about rekindling our relationship to the joy of acting and to the joy of creating, that's really what I recommend you do. I would even write it down in your notebook and in your journal. Make a list of all the times when you were a kid that you truly experienced the joy of creating. And it doesn't have to relate to acting necessarily. It can just be being creative. And this can provide you with a huge insight into how you can rekindle your relationship to your joy. You can even take it a step further. As an acting exercise, take a moment and close your eyes and imagine that you are standing in front of your own little 5-year-old child, and allow yourself to feel connected to that child, feel their vulnerability, feel their innocence, and feel their need to be loved, their need to be understood, their need to be heard or seen, or whatever the need is. And allow yourself to acknowledge that need, and then think about what kind of promise would you make to that little kid, even though it's you. What kind of promise would you make to that little kid to make sure that they were always protected and they always felt safe and free to be creative? That's the first major thing that can help you rekindle your relationship to your joy. Now, as actors, the demand on our emotional life is huge in the craft of acting. And that includes all kinds of emotions: sadness, anger, grief, laughter. Intense emotions are always on the table in the craft of acting. So the first category for rekindling your relationship to your joy in your acting craft is joy of your emotional life. The first time that I went into my mentor's acting class in the early 90s, it was Susan Batson, and her acting class was held in her house, and there were between 20 and 30 very serious, dedicated international actors. So there were actors from all over the world. And there was one incredible actress on the stage working on a major dramatic character. Deeply, deeply emotional. And she was asked to do an exercise called a character private moment. I described this exercise in a previous video. The character private moment is a very important way for you as the actor to experience the need and the intimacy of the character. And I watched this incredible actress explore the exercise and go into this deep emotional grief. She was sobbing deeply and almost to the point where I was almost concerned for her well-being. And at the end of the exercise, my teacher, Susan Batson, said very kindly and very firmly to the actress on the stage, "Remind yourself that you love acting. Say it out loud. I love acting." And this relief came over her, and this feeling of joy exuded from her after accomplishing the work. And what Miss Batson reminded her in that moment about, and I've never forgotten this, and I also bring it into my teaching when I coach actors, even if the character is going to the depths of hell emotionally, it is always about the character. It is not about you personally. And even though you're going somewhere deep in your emotional life, never forget about the joy of acting and how much you love to act and how much you love to experience these characters. And even if you're going to deep emotional places, it never has to bleed into your personal life. It's always just in the space of your artistry. And in art, you are safe at all times. And even though you're going to tremendously deep pain or grief or rage or whatever it might be, always remember that you are creating, and that little kid that loves to pretend and loves to create things is part of that experience. The second category for rekindling your relationship to your joy in your acting craft is the joy of doing the work versus perfectionism. When you're building a career as a professional actor, it's easy to get carried away with, I need to be perfect, I need to do everything right, otherwise I'm a failure. And the problem that we run into when we hold ourselves accountable on that kind of level, the simple joy of doing the work can really go out the window. And even when it comes down to doing homework or doing script analysis, what a tragedy it is if you are not having fun doing homework on your character. Doing script analysis should be fun, exploring the possibilities. But a lot of times we have this stingy, overbearing adult voice inside of us screaming that we have to get it right. Otherwise, we suck, or we're a failure, or we're never going to amount to anything. And sometimes this comes out of just plain fear that we're not going to be good enough. This can filter into our auditions, and this can definitely filter into our professional working life in rehearsal or on the set. Once again, the solution to this type of issue is to stop and remind ourselves that we love the work that we do. And the best thing for us is always to be in a sense of play and fun and joy. And that will take us so much further than being heavy-handed and critical and like a strict, toxic parent to ourselves. Just like with your emotional life, you can sit down, connect to that little kid that's inside of you, and decide how you want to proceed with your work session. If it's your homework, turn on some music or go to an environment that feels safe and creative and enjoyable and uplifting for you. If ever you're in doubt, just ask your inner little kid, and you'll most likely get a very clear answer. The third category of reconnecting to your joy in your acting craft is sharing your work. This is just as important as everything else, because a big part of being an actor is being able to go to an audition or work in front of an audience, or go to the set and work in front of your fellow actors and the director and the crew, and share your work with a sense of playfulness and joy. And sometimes in the day-to-day grind, and also feeling pressure to do great and to do your work well, this connection to our joy can really, really flatten out. Reminding yourself about the joy of acting, the joy of doing your homework, and the joy of sharing your work with others. You have to give others the benefit of the doubt, whether it's a casting director or a director or a fellow actor. They're on your side. They want you to do well. They want you to win, because it's going to make them look good. And if you can move the perfectionist voice off to the background, off to the side, go tell that voice to go get a cup of coffee. Create a boundary with that voice. You don't have to be beholden to the stingy parent voice that's in your head, to the inner critic that's in your head. You can decide how you want this to go, and you can pay attention to that little kid inside of you and give he or she a chance to shine. And with the joy of sharing your work, chances are you'll take more risks, you'll be more relaxed, you'll be more confident, you'll be more free, and you'll go deeper. Don't underestimate this subject. Don't underestimate the power of joy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website as well as our free weekly newsletter. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.